Hey guys, how you doing? This is Adam with tatexpress. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about summer maintenance, guys. Yeah, as you know, it's getting really hot out here. If you guys are in the repair industry, I know you've heard some tires blow up here and there. So guys, I hope everybody's doing well. As I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about summer maintenance. If you guys haven't had your truck checked out for this summer heat, you're probably a little bit behind schedule. Of course, we're looking at August. So what's up, guys? Thanks for everybody that's joining the chat. Where we're going to be, what I see mostly coming in is, of course, is AC work during this hot weather. And what we've noticed is a lot of cab air filters are clogged up. So guys, if you're of course, everyone's running AC right now. It's very hot right now. You want to make sure to get that cab filter cleaned out or replaced very frequent, especially depending on where you're at. If you're in a location where you get a lot of dust, it's gonna be best to get that replaced very frequently. Don't want to wait too long and get that evaporator clogged up. If you guys running the older trucks, if you have a hot water lines going to your heater core, you want to go ahead and shut those hot water nozzles off. Hot water valves, you want to go ahead and get all those shut off. You're not going to be using heat right now, so what I've noticed is if you don't shut those hot water valves, some of that hot water is still going to be going into the heater core. And the way these setups are is they are exactly right next to each other. So if the evaporator is working to get cold, to create cold air coming into the system, but you still have hot water going through your heater core, then of course it's not gonna cool up, or it's not gonna cool down. So guys, another thing you want to do is you want to check your coolant. Make sure that you're actually getting coolant flush. If you haven't had a flush done, make sure to get that done. A lot of OEM is going to be calling out for different miles. If you guys got any questions about maintenance, we have added some links onto our website. If you go to services, and you're going to be able to see service intervals. We're going to be updating this more here, but this is going to just basically give you a basic look about what you're going to be looking for during testing coolant. About 20,000 miles, you want to test your coolant. If your glycol levels are not meeting meeting standards, and you want to go ahead and get that replaced. And when you do that and you have your coolant actually drop, you want to check for any kind of coolant hoses that are expanded, that look like they're not sealing or anything like that. Anything that looks really dry rotted. If you got original hoses on that, you want to go ahead and get those replaced with new clamps. Once you get the cooling system back filled, I know you guys some of these guys are pretty busy right now, so want to make sure to run that truck until you have pressure built up in the system. Don't just jump in that truck and take off after doing a coolant service or any kind of coolant repair on the truck. Anytime your truck has been completely drained of coolant and you barely fill it back up, it's possibility it can have some air pockets in there. So wait until that truck will warm up. Try to get all that air pockets out of there. On a DD15, you're gonna bring up the RPMs about 1,500, or at least about 1,000. I'm sorry, and that should get everything purged out. I'm gonna try to catch up with chat, guys. I see a few guys on chat. It's kind of we don't have too many guys on chat today, but I'm gonna catch up with everybody here. Johnson, what's going on? How you doing? Eli, what's up? Juan, what's up? Thanks for joining us. DPG, great intro. Texas Vibe, I appreciate that. MU, thank you, Adam. Just want to let you know that we really appreciate you giving you special time on Sunday. Yes, sir. We got some. We did some more video at our new location. We got some construction going on. As you guys know, we've been releasing some videos out, some images of the new site. We're pretty excited about that. So that's coming along. So yeah, we're shooting. We got what's in the shop that we're shooting, and we also have another destruction video. We got a lot of content that we've been trying to get out to you guys. We've been actually grabbing some new hardware we're going to be using for recording and getting some videos out to you guys. So I appreciate you guys' support. Transport has a question. Hi, Adam. I have a question. Have you and your guys ever changed the 7th injector diesel line? How hard is it? It goes behind the engine and other side. On the DD15, yes, that one's going to be tough to get to. You might have to get it from either on top of the transmission, working your way on the side fairing on the side of it, working your way, getting all that plastic out of your way behind the first the first passenger wheel. Getting that plastic out of your way, you're gonna be able to get it on this side, and also you'll be able to access it on both sides in the fairing. So it's not that bad of a job. Just take your time and make sure that line's secured. If you're replacing it, is it leaking? Is that why you're replacing it? Was it not secured? So I appreciate that question. GS says, what's up? How you guys doing? Yeah, hit that like button, guys. We got viewers now. If you guys are watching, make sure to hit the like button, guys. We only got nine likes, including mine right now. Transport has another question. He says, what steps for a coolant flush? DD15, what ports open, what to do? Okay, so when you on a DD15, it's kind of tough to get to, but it's under the fuel filter housing. There's gonna be a plug on the block. That's where you're actually supposed to be draining the coolant out, because if you're just draining it from the radiator or on the bottom, if you have anything that's from the truck side, if you just drain it from the bottom, there's still gonna be coolant inside the block. So opening up that plug that's going to be up against the block up under the fuel filter housing is going to be able to get that drained out completely. And that's a step that you're going to have to do if you're doing any repairs on the fuel filter housing itself. That's getting the coolant completely drained out. So guys, again, summertime maintenance is basically the topic today. We talked about, AC service. If you guys, if your AC hasn't been working for a long time, say for example, it's been out of service since last season, more than likely you're gonna have to get your AC serviced completely. Anytime you have an open Freon line or open line in the system and you leave it open for a long period of time, what happens is moisture is gonna go in the system. And with moisture going in the system, if you just try to at least replace the line whenever the season is back on, say for example your AC went out last winter, and then now it's summertime and you want your AC back, you put Freon in and you see a leak and you want to just replace that line. Okay, so if you just replace that line, as I mentioned, you got moisture in the system and you can still you're still going to mess the system up. It's not, we see this all the time where we have guys come in where they just replace a compressor or a Freon line on a system that's been open for a long time. Of course, as I mentioned, you're going to have condensation in the system. It's going to cause restriction on your TXU valves or your expansion valves, and you're going to cause another compressor failure. We had a customer come in just this past week, and he wanted us to check out his truck. And guys, we do get this a lot. We get guys that come in, they want us to check their truck out. Not a lot of times they'll do service with us. Either they just want us to, you could tell when somebody's actually worked on their truck, because parts and all that have been already replaced. So that's, when we recognize that, it's fine, guys. If you guys are working on your own trucks, this is why we do the video. But at the same time, if we're going to be coming into the shop and we're going to be doing some kind of troubleshooting, of course, we're going to be charging for that troubleshooting to get it checked out if it's going to be taking up some time. And we're going to have to actually check it out. So, as I mentioned, this AC job comes in, and the only reason why I'm bringing up AC, because of course it's very hot right now. Guys, if you have a compressor go out and if it's locked up, just replacing the compressor is not going to fix the problem. You have to flush the system. You have to replace the expansion valves. You have to take the expansion valves off, and you have to flush the system the way that the Freon flows through the system. So that means all lines, all connections are going to need to be open, and they're going to need to be flushed. This is to ensure that you don't have any kind of debris in the system. So when you go back with another expansion valve, new dryer, new compressor, that you're not going to have a failed compressor right away. So guys, that's one thing I wanted to bring up when we're talking about summer maintenance. Another thing we're going to be doing is talking about tires. If you guys are close to a highway, I know you've already heard these tires blowing off, and they sound like shotguns on the side of the road. So if you guys have heard that, I'd like to hear your experience on that. Chat is live right now. We got 15 likes. We've got 26 viewers right now, guys. So make sure to hit that like button. If you guys are just new to our channel, and you got friends that owns a truck and they got questions or they want to reach out to us, refer my channel to them so we can get more subscribers. We're trying to get up to 10,000 subscribers so we can get our merch out to you guys. We're very excited about getting merch out to you guys. And about the new site, we were having a video that's supposed to be ready this week. Hopefully Trey's going to be able to get that ready. But it's a pretty cool video that we had ready for you guys about our new location. It's coming along. They're grading the property. It's coming along really nice. So As I mentioned, we're talking about summer maintenance today. As I mentioned, we're going over the tires. I know you guys have heard these tires blowing up on the side of the road. Guys, if you got some bald tires, if you got some bad tires going on, get your tires replaced. Get your tires ready for the summertime. If you're running recaps and you already know that these recaps are old, and the way you can tell from a recap tire is if you look at the sidewall of the tire and the DOT number side, usually they're going to have a hot stamp where they stamp the side of the sidewall, and they're going to have the actual digits, which is going to be the date when that tire was actually stamped. You want to make sure your tires aren't too old by the original DOT number, and you also want to make sure you're not, if you are running recaps, they're not being more than capped twice. If they're looking like they're really dry around where the cap is being held on there, those are indications that that tire is going to fail. Make sure your steer tires are aired up and they're looking good as well. If you're seeing any kind of wear, you don't push these tires any further than they need to, especially during this hot summer. It can be very dangerous. You don't want to blow out a steer tire and be stuck on the side of the road. Those are really pain in the butt as a service guy. Speaking as a service guy coming out, those are a pain in the butt when the rim is on the ground. Guys, so Transport is asking me what steps for coolant flush. Oh, I just went over that. I'm glad. Thanks for the question. Is it normal for water temp to run about 200 degrees on the Kenworth T2000? If when I get questions like this and it comes from an operator, I usually ask the operator around about where was this temperature riding before. Now, if you've been in this truck for a very long time and you notice your temperature is rising slowly, that's an indication that you have something going on, of course. If it's a question coming up and you haven't seen this running at 200, of course, if it's hot outside, you're going to be running a higher temperatures when it's hot outside. But if you're taking PM precautions, another item on checking that for during summertime is going to be your radiator. You want to make sure to spray out your radiator with some shop air. You can wash them out as well. Make sure your radiator is free of dirt, it's not clogged up, and also that your engine fan is working correctly. That, of course, the way the radiators works by forced air, and if you're not moving, your fan is coming on and bringing in that forced air. So if your fan is sounding weak and it's not kicking in real hard, sometimes what happens is those fan clutches can wear out, where they have brake pads on the actual fan clutch that actually engage when the fan hub actually engages. Over time, those brake shoes or those brake pads can actually brake liners is what it basically is, can wear out, and they won't be able to grip that fan hub and spin that fan around like it's supposed to. So make sure all that's working correctly when it comes to your cooling system. If you see any kind of discoloration in your coolant, or you're seeing that you're actually coolant being pushed out, that's an indication you got something going on. If you don't have any alarms, make sure that if you have an alarm about high temp, then definitely get your truck looked at. If you're running just a little bit higher than normal, but it is hotter outside, keep that in mind. And also get your radiators flushed out, with shop air. You can also get them flush, and check your nitrite levels on your coolant system. So I appreciate that, Alex. I appreciate that question. Chat's pretty live right now. We got 30 viewers. Make sure to smash that like button, guys. I appreciate that comment earlier. Transport says, William, how much? William says 2016 ISX automatic 500K. Goodbye or not? 2016 is right around where I was mentioned. If you haven't seen my Cummins ISX15 common issue video, after 16 model is really when they start updating a lot of the items. So Transport's asking how much is the price for that, William. It just depends on the price. What I would be suspicious about right now, there's going to be a lot of trucks going. Basically, truck capacity is getting tight again. I've been reading that the freight's picking back up, so truck capacity is getting tight. What that means is a lot of people that exited the market during this pandemic, a lot of trucks are struggling to actually keep up with the freight. So it's just a pattern that we go through. We're gonna see how long that the recovery lasts. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. There's a lot of cash being pumped into the economy. So we're very interested to see how that's gonna pan out for us. And the trucking so far has been holding us pretty strong. So just on that. So as I mentioned, on the 2016 model at 500K. Depends on the price. If you're comparing it to other trucks in the market and it's super low, like 20% lower than what that other one, what the other ones are going for, then I would be I would be careful about those. Those they might be having something going on with that. And also get it checked out. Check the maintenance records. William, if you follow us, check the maintenance records. Check the check if the maintenance record has been done, and making sure that it's been checked by an outside shop. As I mentioned, always getting checked by an outside shop is something that you're gonna need to get done. Guys, so we're talking about summer maintenance. As I mentioned that, basically the same items that you look over already. We're looking at belts. We've already talked about coolant levels. We've talked about fan clutches. Check your belts. Check your tensioners. If you're over 500K and you hear the tensioner running pretty hot, or you hear it squealing a lot, let's go ahead and get that replaced. Get the belts replaced. Make sure all that's good. Okay, you already got the radiator already flushed out. We've already checking the fluids, making sure our fluids are right. This is something that we're doing on a regular basis on the 20,000 mile mark. If you haven't got your air system already serviced, which is your dryer on your system, you're gonna get that done once a year, guys. So don't skip on that. Keeping that air dryer clean, keeping that air, the moisture out of that air is gonna help you out in the long run. Rodney says, "What's up? How much for an annual inspection on a trailer and truck?" That's going to be $55 for a FMCSA, which is a federal inspection, and then $40 for a state inspection. A state inspection is going to be what you're going to need for for registration. So most of the times guys come in for either one. So we just like to clarify that. GS says, "I changed my comp evaporator dryer, overscrewed the aluminum screw on the compressor." Okay, GS just says he changed out his pump, his compressor evaporator dryer on his AC system. So I got to pull the old compressor apart. It was leaking, haven't charged it year plus. Okay, so compressors are gonna go out pretty often. AC compressors go out pretty often. You got to make sure that you're flushing the system. He's saying that he over tightened some screws on the system. So AC systems are very, they're very particular systems. They're running, they're aluminum lines, and they're going into steel pieces, steel hardware. So they run all over the truck. They're exposed to the outside elements. So working with AC is very delicate. Aluminum lines can break all the time. Also, if you're working on a truck, say you have a aluminum line with a rubber section on the line. That line was manufactured that way, whatever it was installed on that truck, and it's been on there for a long time with the heat and the heat of the engine and the cooling off. So over time, that hose is gonna get pretty brittle. So if you're working on a truck and you end up moving that line, there's a lot of times that those lines are gonna end up rupturing, guys. So keep that all in mind. Try to move those lines, or if you can avoid moving those lines, get that done. Transport says, "GS, did you ever fix the problem last week?" GS is having, okay, so Transport's asking if you about your other problem. GS had a transmission problem last week. Guys, if you have some more items that you'd like to bring up, as I mentioned, we have everybody, we're live right now. We got over 30 viewers right now. Guys, some guys haven't hit that like button, so make sure to hit that like button. So I'm going to keep on moving. Cobra says, "Any thoughts on recap? Seems like they end up costing money instead of saving it when they come apart." You're right. I don't really like using recaps. I'll use Chinese on the rears, but originals or name brand on the front. I would say Goodyear, anything like that on the front for the steers. If your truck is aligned and you don't have any suspension issues, and you got good shocks and you got good, your suspension is aligned, you can run Chinese tires in the rear and nothing will go wrong. You can, those tires will last you over a year. And it also just depends on the terrain and where you're running at. So I like that question. I really appreciate that question, Cobra. Hopefully that recaps will save you some money just up front, but in the long run it won't. Think about what it's going to happen if you do have a ruptured recap, and it's going to take out a mud flap, take out, your quarter fender. It can make a mess. So I wouldn't, definitely, you're not even allowed on the front as well. So I appreciate that input. Robert says, "Adam, do you have time tomorrow to check my truck for loss of power? I'm going to be at Palestine. Once I unload, I can head to your shop." Come on by, Robert. We have time. I'll look at the schedule. You know, I'm not on the schedule right now, but we can definitely look at you, Robert. If you want to come on by tomorrow, I appreciate you reaching out to us. Call us here at the shop tomorrow. I'm going to put it here in the comments. Call us here at the shop. You can either talk to myself or Francisco, and we could check you out if you're having low power on that. Give us an idea of what kind of truck it is. If it's a DD15 or a Volvo, we'll definitely help you out on that. I appreciate that. GS says, yeah, I made an auxiliary lifting bracket and I got it in with the gaskets. Good job. GS was working on a transmission on his own last week, and he said he's got that going. Yeah, sometimes getting those tools, those lifting tools is going to help you out a lot, especially when you're doing a lot of heavy lifting. If you're messing with transmissions, if you're dropping transmissions, you want to have a good jack. I always, I've used a lot of different jacks throughout my career, but the best jack that I've bought is a gray. It's called a gray manufactured jack. Very, very nice, sturdy jack. It's got to give you a lot of space. The way that it's set up, it's very, very user friendly, very tech friendly. Robert, come on in. GS says, I stuck it in the old shims randomly, auxiliary counter shaft sticking a little more out. Yeah, make sure you're supposed to mark those shims whenever you're dealing with the counter shaft. We're talking about the auxiliary box. The counter shafts on the auxiliary box. GS got some input for us. He actually did a repair on a transmission. Just have to put one on top of the cover. Also have reseal the PTO. Okay, yeah, make sure you're resealing everything good when you're working. Anytime you're working on transmission, guys, you want to make sure to seal it up really well. If not, the guy's gonna lose transmission fluid over time. And some of these older trucks don't have oil level transmission or oil level sensors, oil temp sensors, which really blows my mind. I don't know why they don't put those in, but if you don't have that in, you can run that truck and run out of oil and won't even know it. By the time you know it, the transmission's gone. All the gears look good, but there are a lot of metal on the magnet and on the floor. Cut my hand. Appreciate your input there, GS. Be careful on what you're working with. I was running on low oil. Okay, transport say, Adam, EGR cooler leaked. Water got into the DPF. Need new filters, you think? If it wasn't oil soaked, if it's just coolant soaked, you can get those cleaned out and you'll be all right. But if long as it wasn't oil soaked, if you check out the last video I did, it was a video on transport. It was for service and DPF filters. It was one we just did. It was actually on a Volvo for Volvo D13. But that video right there kind of gave us some guidelines on what to look for when you're servicing DPF filters. Coolant contaminant is not going to be a cause for a replacement. But if you do have oil contaminants, that would be a cause for a replacement, but it has to be bigger than a 4 inches diameter. So it's bigger than 4-inch diameter. We're going to go ahead and say that needs to be replaced. That DPF filter needs to be replaced. And this is per what service literature is telling us. And that was D13 Volvo DPF inspection and service video transports so check that out. William says 40K, so they're asking for 40K on a, let me go back to the original comment. 40K on a 2016 ISX 500 miles. William, I would look at the maintenance records. Look at the maintenance records because 500K, that's a long time. If they were running 50,000 mile, 30,000 mile oil change intervals, then make sure to get an oil sample done. Check out that fuel pump. Make sure that fuel pump is not an original fuel pump. If it is an original fuel pump, then I would expect you may have to get that replaced. Check the after treatment systems. I've noticed on these ISX, we have an ISX in the shop right now that has a failed filter. It's got a failed DPF filter. For some reason, I see the filters on the Cummins fail. I mean, and they're not just actually needing to be cleaned. They're actually need to be replaced. They're completely being failed. So that's a big expense right there, guys. And I'm having them fail at pretty low mileage. So guys, make sure to keep, if you do have an ISX15, you have a check engine light, make sure to get that checked out, guys. I know we mostly our topic is going to be about maintenance. But we talked about AC systems. If you have an APU, guys, make sure to run your APU. You don't want to run your truck for a very long time. But as I was mentioning, I'm talking about this ISX15. We got a 2016 in the shop with only 300,000 miles, and we're showing with a bad filter. And this is what this is basically what they were, what Insight called us out. We've already troubleshot this many times. We've released a truck a couple times, came back with the same code. We've checked the differential system and low mileage and having to replace the filter. Guys, if you're in the heat and you don't have an APU, of course you're having to run the truck. It's not recommended, but you're stuck having to do that. And it will give you some problems in your after treatment system. So guys, so keep that in mind. This is why the manufacturers put that on the they put the idle kill on the truck, because they don't want you to damage the filter. So keep all this in mind, guys. GS says, can I really get a 4 of 1800 without core charger and a scam? I'm not sure what you're asking there, GS. Sorry about that. Transport say 40K seems too much. These ISX go for around 800K miles. So 40K depends on what the market is. As I mentioned, transport right now, the capacity is getting tight. I've seen a few articles about capacity tightening up out here. And usually what that means when capacity starts getting tight, that means that there's a lot more trucks going to try to start getting into the industry. And when that happens, that's going to spike up prices. 40K for 500K, I would have to look around about what the trucks are running in that market. I couldn't tell you, right away, hey, that's a good price. What I would recommend you to do is check the items that I mentioned, the maintenance records. If they're charging this much, they should have solid maintenance records. A lot of major work should have been already taken care of if at that particular price. DIY semi-size Adam, what's up? I hit 1,000 subs today. Congratulations, DIY. He said he just hit 1,000 subscribers. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I know you guys have subscribed to my channel if you're watching. If you guys have any friends that are in the trucking industry or just got in the trucking industry, refer them to my channel. Tell them, we can help the guys out. We try to give you guys as much information as possible so we can get more subs as well. We're trying to hit 10,000 subs, guys. So thank you. Congratulations. I remember when we hit 1,000. It seems like almost yesterday. Robert says, I just passed your shop. Nice F-150. That is going to be Trey's 150. So thanks for coming by. Hopefully you can stop by tomorrow. We will be ready to service you, Robert. Hopefully when you get unloaded, we can catch up. Jay the trucker says, what's up? How's it going? What's going on? It's going, man. It's pretty hot out here. We were shooting at the new site earlier today. We got some pretty cool drone shots. We can't wait to release this new groundbreaking video that we just shot, guys. Make sure to keep an eye out on that. That video should be out. I'd have to get with Trey on when that video is going to be out. So yeah, that's what's up over here, man. It's hot. The temperature's up. I appreciate you joining us, Jay. Let me see what else we got. Tony says we got after an in-frame DD15, let it running on idle for a while would cause any damage on it. I mean, you want to run it, right? Of course you're gonna have to run it. If it sounds like anything is ticking, then I would stop running the truck immediately. If it sounds anything irregular, Tony, if you just in-frame this truck and it sounds irregular, then if you have any suspicion on how the build went, make sure that everything was torqued down correctly. I noticed with DD15s they're very specific with assembly. They even have a section that talks about assembly failures and what happens when if they're assembled incorrectly. So Tony, make sure if you hear something incorrect or irregular in that, Tony, just trust your gut feeling and don't run it. Larry says, I need a fuel injector. Okay, Larry, we can help you out. I believe, Larry, didn't you just have service with us? I believe you did, DD15. I wonder what happened there. Didn't you just have service with us? I would like to know what's going on. Let me look back in your history here. Larry's a viewer and came and visited us. Looks like you had some work done. I'm hoping I'm not getting you mixed up. I may be getting you mixed up, but yeah, I'm curious to know why you're having an injector failure. Let's see what we have here. A lot of questions, a lot of guys joining us. I appreciate you guys joining us right now. I'm looking up some repairs for a viewer that came in, and what I want to do is I want to see exactly what we worked on. Okay, so you had some NOx issues going on. Now you have an injector fault going on. Let us know what we can got going on for you, what we can help you with. Larry says, I gotta come back to your shop and check the engine light is back on, son. 3013 FMI. I wonder if that's the same code. Larry says he's getting an after treatment code, 1323. If it's the same code, come on in. I'm gonna help you out. Let's look that up real quick since he's on here with us. Larry, I want to make sure you're getting taken care of. I know those after treatment problems can be a mess. I know they can be a mess. So what I'm gonna do right now, I want to look up that code for you, Larry, so that we can get an idea of what you got going on. So I appreciate all you guys joining us today. If you guys haven't hit that like button, make sure to hit that like button. Let me see here. Let me see what we got here. Larry, what truck or what year is that truck? I remember here it is a 2015, so it's GHG14. And I apologize, guys. Right now, I'm looking up a code for a viewer. I'm looking up a code he has here, 1324. Okay, 1323. Okay, 1323. We are looking at. I'm sorry, I lost the feed here. 31. Misfire cylinder 1. So you still okay? So when you came in, I think you had a misfire on cylinder number 6. And now you're having a misfire on cylinder number 1. I remember you were saying you had some issues with a valve adjustment. We did find the valves out of adjustment, so we may have to check that out again for you. I wonder if you're having a Jake brake sticking or something. I wonder if you are using Jake brakes, I wonder if that's having any issue right there. Give me a second. Jake brake could be stuck. But last time you came in was a cylinder number 6. But we'll definitely get that checked out. Hopefully you can make it back in. If you're feeling any kind of irregulars and it seems like it may make some damage, I would definitely get it checked out or bring it back in. Definitely. Appreciate you reaching out to us. I know you had some issues with that. Larry, make sure to write the codes off for the new injector to program it. So Larry's saying, so you're saying it's the injector. You have another, that's a balance fault. That's basically an idle misfire on number 1. Last time you had an idle misbalance on number 6. We did find the valves were out of adjustment, and so now it moved to only cylinder number 1, which we didn't have that before. So I would suggest we get it checked out again. Just double check the valve adjustments on it. Make sure that we don't have any Jake brakes sticking, and if you don't, then I would go ahead and move on with the injector before condemning the injector there, Larry. I appreciate you giving us your feedback there. Next question here. Jazz says, hey, Adam, I have a Cat C15 and someone is suggesting to convert into it's a good idea. I wouldn't be, Caterpillars, we see quite a few ACERTs. But the older ones, changing items over like that, we don't have too much experience here. We do a lot of the stuff, OEM. If you're doing any kind of aftermarket stuff on it, we don't do any kind of aftermarket or any kind of modifications. So here we go. Joe says, what's up? I just joined. You're pretty sharp, kid. I appreciate it. Elson, hi Adam, streaming again. Awesome. Walking again. Have a nice conversation. I interested information you're sharing. I did. Hey, you know what, Elson? I believe you're the guy that left us the review from last week, man. I talked to my manager about that, and he said we didn't have enough time. He told me about the replacement he told me the replacement that you did on the compressor. Now, anytime you replace just the compressor on an AC system, guys, if you're just joining us, we had a viewer come in last week, and he come in, and apparently he wasn't too satisfied, and I feel bad for it. He had an issue with his AC system. He came in about 3 p.m. Francisco, which is our store manager, worked him in the shop, and he was able to get him looked at. We did check the AC system. He did find out he didn't want to do an evac and recharge. Is something that we really need to do. Anytime you actually work on the AC system, you want to do a complete evac and recharge, because even if someone tells you, hey, I got enough Freon in this system, you as a technician, when you're working on this AC system, you don't actually know how much Freon is in the system. So if you have a system that's not fully charged and you evac the system, if you evac the system, then it's possible you can have. I'm sorry, I just got a text message from production. Elson, you know what? It wasn't you. I'm sorry. I got you guys mixed up. I apologize. What I was basically saying is I had a customer come in that came in at 3 p.m. and I feel bad that we weren't able to help him completely out, but what I was mentioning is he had the compressor replaced, but he didn't actually flush the system. So when we got him in and we didn't evac the system because he didn't want to do that, he said that the Freon was already completely charged. So he was kind of limiting our troubleshooting. We get to the end of the day, we tell him, hey, you know what? We're going to have to actually replace the compressor because it locked up again. And you're going to have to replace the dryer and the expansion valves as well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And this is why I brought this up. So I guess the guy was upset, and he was upset because we weren't able to get to him to that day. And it's understandable if you're sleeping in the truck and you don't have AC. Yeah, it's very frustrating that you can't get your AC work fixed, and it took us a few hours to get you that information over. And I apologize, but at the same time, we have a lot of trucks come in. And at 3 p.m. coming in for an AC job, and we did charge because we looked at it. But if you really was that unsatisfied, we can return your money. But at the same time, we do charge to check the systems out because we do have a lot of guys that come into the shop that are working on their equipment, and they just come in and they want us to fix the problem or figure out the problem for them. And it's very difficult because it takes up a lot of the shop time. And at the beginning it wasn't a big deal, but when it's taking up hours of your time to figure out the problems and they're not wanting to get the repair done, it's just kind of, you have to watch out for those items. So this guy got upset with us, so I thought you were the viewer. I apologize, but I'm glad. Thank you for viewing us. I'm not upset about it. I understand you have your right to say if the viewer is on, but I just kind of want to explain to it on our side what we're dealing with on our side. So you guys get a picture of it as well. Differential oil maintenance every 500K. That's going to be for transmission and differentials every 500K. Joe Ramirez says, can I run a regen on a Cascadia 2015 without a laptop? It's in limp mode home. If you can't run a regen on its own and it's not completing on its own and it's already in limp mode, basically that means you got something going on with your after treatment system. I wouldn't keep pushing it. If you have over 500K and you haven't had the system already serviced, your DPF filters changed, your DEF filter replaced, and you have inactive codes that haven't been properly checked, I wouldn't keep pushing it, man. You can actually cause some problems, more expensive problems. Transport says, Adam, share a story when you couldn't find out the problem on a truck, like a fault code or something. You had hard time to figure out the problem. Those are a lot of mechanics have. I mean, they shouldn't say a lot of them, but mechanics do have those problems, and it sucks. It sucks having issues that you can't figure out. Oh, excuse me, guys. I've been drinking coffee. It sucks having a problem that you can't figure out and dragging it on for days. It really does suck. I would have to think back on a particular story to share that, but I appreciate that feedback. Let me see if I can come up with one here shortly, and I'll make sure to share it on this live. Trey says, releasing video tonight if you don't run into any problems. Yeah, if we don't run into any problems, we've been having some issues getting some media out. We got some drone footage of 4K, so it's really awesome, guys. We're really excited about that. Guys, if any of this information has helped you, if any of my prior videos has helped you and you want to support the channel, make sure that you can hit us up on Cash App. It's #TATexpress. You can also Cash App is a simple app. You can just go to your app store, download it, and you can link it to any bank card or card or bank account, and you can leave us a tip. I appreciate it. It's not needed, but I appreciate it. Cruz says, hi Adam, how much y'all charge to install an APU Thermo King system on a 2014 Cascadia, and how much time? Usually that's going to take a full day. Sometimes it goes longer if you don't have all the hardware. Sometimes what I see, Cruz, is if you pulled one off of a wreck truck, if you bought one from a junkyard and you have all the hoses that were already made, those hoses pretty much are going to be useless. You're going to have to pre-make everything again. If it's a brand new system, then what we usually do is all the hoses are going to be pre-made, or we're going to make them in-house. And if you have one that was pulled off on another truck, even if it's the same year model, I wouldn't suggest putting all this work into putting these hoses in. As I mentioned in the other video, these hoses, after being sit for a long time, once they're moved around, they can be brittle. And if you spend all this time installing the system and the hose is brittle and ends up cracking and leaking on you, then what's going to end up happening is it's going to leak. You're going to spend more time. So, but yeah, Cruz, we can definitely install that. I'd like to look at the system. If you want to bring it on by, we can give you a price on that. Rava says, TAT, how's it going? It's going, guys. I appreciate all you guys joining us. Larry, I appreciate your feedback. Guys, I appreciate all your guys' like. If you haven't hit the like button, make sure to hit the like button. We are live right now, as everybody knows. We're talking about summer maintenance. We got a lot of viewers right now on with us. I'm glad you guys are all hitting the like button. We talked about tires. We talked about AC service. We talked about fan clutches. We talked about cooling services. We talked about all your fluids. These are just a lot of items. If you haven't hit, I mean, if you're at your 500K mark, go ahead and do your transmission and your differentials. If that hasn't been done before, that's going to be very good. If you haven't had your truck inspected, here at TAT, anytime somebody comes in and gets service done, we do a full inspection. When we do that inspection, we're looking for leaking fuel lines. We're looking for leaking transmission cooler lines, anything like that that's going to be causing you some downtime. Guys, I'm going to take a sip of here. Israel's got some information here. He says, what do you think about Pretty G truck sales? Okay, I'm thinking to buy a truck from them. Thank you for it in advance. You know, honestly, Israel, we're probably gonna look into getting trucks ready for you guys for purchase, because I wish I did have somebody that I can refer you to, but I don't. I see guys that have been, you know, hey, this is a good place to go buy a truck, and then they bring them here, and I see what they're trying to sell, and it looks like they're just trying to push trucks off. So Israel, what I would mention, I always mention to everybody that's buying a used truck, is getting it checked out by an outside shop, checking the maintenance records, and keeping it in line. If you want, you can check my website out. We have maintenance intervals there. Check that out, guys. That's going to help you if you can line that up with what the records are showing, and you can say, hey, this truck has been maintained. If it hasn't been maintained, then those records are going to be pretty empty, and they're not going to have anything. Rodney says, what's up, Adam? Truck and trailer inspection costs. I got that to you. I believe I answered that earlier. I appreciate that. Or did I miss? It looks like I missed a lot of questions here. Let me go back up here. Just past the shop. Nice. I got that. Make sure you write the code. I have a cat. What's up? Join a pretty sharp kid. I appreciate that comment, Joe. Running the regen, differential oil. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I actually skipped some questions here, but I guess I didn't. Larry, what's up? He says it's him. Everybody's on live. I appreciate that. Just low power. If he's having a low power and you're still having that contribution fault, man, come bring it in. He said he's gonna be back next week, so hopefully you can make it in. I'll be happy to figure out what's going on with that. Let me see what else. Robert says, what's the recommendation maintenance for a DD15 air filter, fuel filter, and oil change? About how many miles? You know, as I mentioned, you can go to my website, and what I have on here is about 15 to 20K is going to be what your oil filters and fuel filters. Sometimes you can, if you're having low power issues and you're already past the 15K mark, go ahead and replace your fuel filters. Sometimes those fuel filters can get clogged up before they're actually time to actually check it out. And then you want to just inspect everything else. You want to inspect your belts, your power steering fluid, all your washer fluid, everything like that. That basically, check that DOT video that we release. Guys, I appreciate all the questions. On the air filter, you're going to change that, I would say, once a year. Depends on your environment. You know, if you're very dusty environment, if you're out in the oil field or you're out in the actual field and you don't have roads and there's a lot of dust, you're going to have to blow all that out. So definitely going to have to look out for that, guys. So let me see what else we got here. Robert says, who do I ask for tomorrow morning at the shop? You can ask for Adam or Francisco. Tell them you saw us on live. We get a lot of guys coming in from the channel. So, you know, Francisco's very familiar with the channel. He knows where you guys are coming from. Francisco's a shop manager. Very nice guy. He's going to help you guys out. Depends on the schedule. We should be able to just get you in and out. I could actually take a look at the schedule right now and see how we're looking for tomorrow. And that's going to tell me where we can put you in at. I'm pretty sure as soon as you could show up, if it's just going to be checking it out for you, we can definitely get you worked in. On a Monday, tomorrow's Monday the 3rd. Yeah, we can definitely get you checked out, Robert. Come on in. Miss Johnson says, what's the best DEF fluid brand to use? Don't go too much on the bulk side at the truck stops. Go with the containers. You know, I know it seems like it's a waste, but you want to make sure you're getting clean fluid. Sometimes those bulk can have a lot of condensation in them. You have fuel filters, and if you make sure you're getting your filter replaced on the DEF pump, that DEF filter is going to need to be replaced like every 100,000 miles. So make sure you're doing that. That's going to probably be once a year if you're doing OTR. So make sure to get that changed out. Guys, I appreciate all the support. Again, thanks for everybody that's watching. If everybody, I really appreciate if you want to share where you're watching from. I appreciate that. Sorry, I got some text coming in. Appreciate, guys, all the support. Guys, on your maintenance for your summer, make sure you're getting all this done. Go back, play all this back, guys. If you have any questions, shoot me some messages. If I haven't got to you guys yet, we're going to get to you guys. I appreciate all your guys' questions. Let me see here. Yes, I gave you the 5-star Google review. You're a good, informative, because you're good at the information you're sharing. It's precious. We have the same engines here, DD15s. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if any of this information has helped you out and you want to support the channel, you can leave us a 5-star on Google or Facebook. Viewer just did that, and I got him mixed up with another viewer. Actually, it was a viewer that came in. And I'm not sure if he actually is a viewer, but he came in, and we had an issue with not being able to get his service done on the same day. He did come in at 3 p.m. Blue DEF is the best. Walmart has it, the container one. That's basically what Transport was actually sharing. Guys, I appreciate all of you guys joining me today. If you got any other questions, hit us up. What's up, Adam? Some shops offer to sell pills to put radiator antifreeze tank to help seal antifreeze leaks. Is that a good idea? Juan, do not use stop leak in your antifreeze at all. Okay, I've mentioned to this in some of my other videos. The reason why you don't want to use stop leak in your cooling system is because you have a few narrow passages that are going through the DD15, whether it's going to be to your fuel filter housing or down to your compressor. They have the plastic lines that go plug into your fuel filter housing and are routing out. They're basically cooling off the fuel filter housing. I'm sorry, they're basically cooling off the compressor. They're cooling off your DEF dozer. I'm sorry, your actually dozer. You have coolant. What I'm trying to get to is you have narrow passages going through the engine. So if you use any kind of stop leakage, stop leaks are what's going to go into those narrow passages and clog them up. So if you do that, and you can actually risk burning up some other items on like your compressor. So don't use stop leak. Do not use stop leak. I do not recommend using stop leak, guys. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. We've been going on for almost an hour now. I appreciate all your support, guys. Make sure to hit the like button. We got the video coming out about the new location. We're very excited about that. We got some pretty cool drone shots. The new shop is coming out great. It's looking really nice. We got another video that we're doing for a failed engine that's in the shop. It looks like it's suspected of another bad delete. So we're doing that. We're also doing what's in the shop. We have a Volvo clutch that we had to replace, guys. So I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you guys watching. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to us and hit the notification bell so you know next time all our videos are coming out, you're notified, guys. So again, guys, appreciate all the support. We'll see you next week. Hope you guys like the content. We're going to be coming out with more stuff. So again, thanks, guys.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. When it rains find me. Hope you find me.